So what makes a graphical user interface great? Um, Quite often there's a lot of debate about this in the human-computer interaction community, but there's certain kind of aspects that you can look at about a graphical user interface to make them what makes one better than the other. Um, and so the first thing that I would probably consider when designing a graphical user interface would be the colours that you're using. Some people say you should limit the number of colours to 3 or 4 so that it doesn't confuse the user, but also using colour for information is also important. Put error messages in red, for example, or thematize your navigation by having different colours for different sections. So when people return to the interface, they know where they are based upon a colour prompt as well as the information on the screen. Secondly, having pictures and icons, particularly having really good metaphors for your icons. The original graphical user interfaces thought of when they made a desktop PC, they thought about the things that were already in an office environment. So you had a filing cabinet for the files and folders to contain documents in. On top of that, you had a desktop and a trash can to recycle old documents. You shouldn't ever surprise the user, and so you'd expect the user interface to act in a consistent way. If you click a button in one place, you should click a button in another, and the navigation structure shouldn't change from page to page. It's also important for the user interface to appear uncluttered. What that means is you need to have a balance of text, images, and also white space on the screen, and things should be aligned neatly. Also, the text that you use needs to be readable, suitable for the age group of the people reading it, large enough for the people to be able to read it, not placed on a picture background so that you can't read the text, and also meaningful related to the context that it's within. You can also think about the input methods when designing a graphical user interface. Do the people have access to a keyboard? Are their hands free? Can they see the screen? What size does the screen need to be? Graphical user interfaces also employ sound if speakers are present, and often this gives the user feedback. So when you click a button, if you play a little sound, then it will remind the user that they have actually clicked that button. Equally, when there's an error message or something that users need to be alerted to, but you shouldn't take sound too far to the point of where it actually distracts the user from the task in hand. Having also a clear and consistent navigation system, so the user at any point knows where they are on the screen. This might be breadcrumbs along the top of the screen to say what file they're within, or an organized set of functions on the left hand side of the screen. Layout is also important, and you need to divide the screen up into areas of sort of common information so that the user can quickly get to the active part of the screen that they want to. And also, graphical user interface would not be any good if it didn't have a context-sensitive help system. So what I mean by that is a way in which you can get help on the thing that you're actively using, as opposed to having to search through a help system to try and find help that's relevant to you. So that was a very quick overview of the things that make a graphical user interface great. And if you'd like to read more about usability, there's a really good book that I can recommend. It's called Don't Make Me Think. It's by Steve Krug, and it looks at how to make websites much more usable. But within there's kind of advice sort of more generally when you're making designing screen layouts and such. So I'd like to thank you very much for listening to this short video tutorial, and I hope you make use of the other tutorials within my YouTube channel, which is School of Comp Scheme. Thank you.